Hi y'all, this is Larry from Deep South Texas. It's the end of May and we are transitioning into our summer garden here in Texas. Let's take a tour. So we've harvested most of our onions. The only ones left are the red onions, and they're just starting to bulb up. I don't know how they're going to fare. Obviously these weren't short day onions, they're intermediate day, I guess. But we've harvested a lot of onions. So here are the onions I have drying out on the rack right now. I think there's probably about 30 pounds there. We've already dried off 25 pounds and bagged them up. They're in the house. And I've exceeded my drying space, so I have some drying on this table here. These are probably the nicest onions we grew this year. These are the Texas 1015, so they did pretty good. I don't think these will last as long as the 502s, but they're a nice onion. I've started taking out my tomato plants and getting ready for that. I've removed the shade cloth and the bird netting. There are only just a very few tomatoes left, and even though we're getting a flower or two, it really is too hot for them to pollinate now here at Deep South Texas, so the tomatoes are done. That's okay, because we got 22 quarts of tomatoes canned and 5 quarts of tomato juice, so a pretty good year for tomatoes. And a lot of peppers coming on this year as well. Not quite as nice as last year's peppers, but still pretty good, pretty good. The most surprising pepper we grew was the Sugar Rush Peach. Let's take a look at those. These peppers are just wildly prolific. Tons and tons of peppers on each plant, and they're just beginning to turn colors now. So I have 3 of them in this bed with all kinds of peppers on them, and 1 more in this barrel. And again, this one's done about the best, and it's just loaded with peppers. These peppers are mildly hot, probably hotter than Anaheim's, but not as hot as jalapenos. I did harvest my elephant garlic. Maybe it was a little bit too early, but let's take a look at those. So here are the elephant garlics. They're in here in the house, in the cool and in the dark, drying out, but not too bad. And then what's left of our tomatoes, these are just ripening up, and we'll be using these to make salsa. Oh, and there's the first bag of onions we have drying, also in this cool dark room. So it's really summer here in Deep South Texas, and most of the spring crops don't fare too well, but we have some crops that do great in the summer, and one of them is the sweet potato. So these slips, I grew some slips. I planted the slips maybe a month ago, maybe a little bit longer. I'll have to go pull up a clip on that. But they're vining out, they're doing well. They filled this whole bed and are spilling out all over. Another crop that does okay is the watermelon. And I've got a couple watermelon growing on this vine over here. They're not quite ready yet, but maybe by 4th of July. Another crop that grows well in the heat are cowpeas. These are pink-eyed purple hull peas that I planted about 3 weeks ago, and they're doing great. I have 2 beds of these, and these are the beds where I had potatoes in earlier this year. Looking for a great harvest. And I'm growing another variety of cowpeas over in this area of the garden. These are red rippers. Now, I've never grown these before, but I think they'll grow about the same way as the pink-eyed purple hulls. And I also have 2 beds of these, and they're looking great. Now, I've already thinned these out. They don't look all that thinned out, but I've already pulled out half of these this year. So I hope there's enough room for them to grow. I did have 3 nice cantaloupes growing, but something came and ate 2 of them. So I harvested the 3rd one, and we'll let it ripen up in the house. The leeks are looking good. I think the squash is kind of small this year, and I think it's done. Need to get those harvested. Not much in the way of navel oranges this year, but there are a few. And I think the best bunch of chives that I've ever grown this year. I need to get my first harvest of moringa leaves going. I'm almost out of moringa leaf powder now, so that's going to become a priority here pretty quick. One of the yellow bell peppers is doing okay. Not a lot of peppers, just 1 on this plant, but it's looking like it'll be ready to harvest shortly. Now this was supposed to be a Carolina Reaper pepper, but I don't think that's what it is. We'll have to let it grow a little bit more to figure it out. The horseradish seems to be doing well. I can't wait to harvest that, but that'll probably be later this fall. The banana trees are looking great. Left 3 pups from last year, and they're growing. They're quite a bit ahead of where they were of the trees that I had going last year, so I'm hoping that the bananas come out a little bit earlier. I think last year not till the 1st of December, and they didn't have enough time really to mature before we got our cold weather. So hoping for something a little bit better this year. We'll certainly be watching these throughout the gardening season. We are well into summer here in deep South Texas, and the garden shows that. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it that thumbs up. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.